Jack here, owner of Hockey Alley, bringing you back hockey history. Today I have a great guest, Don Klassen. He's the inventor of the fire puck. How are you, Don?
Very good, sir. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Can you please tell us about your invention?
I'd be glad to. Yeah, I worked. I was a chemist originally, and I worked at 3M, 37 years there. And during that time, I worked in the what they call reflective products. They made products like highway signs, that glow at night in the dark, and they basically use little glass beads in them. And so I was working in that lab, and my son played hockey back in the 70s. Like, I live in Minnesota, and everybody plays hockey, So,
Yeah.
then I put the same material on a hockey puck way back then, and I made a video of it. And I had it kind of in a back burner all the time for many, many years. And people knew about it, and I didn't take any action on it. But coincidentally, I was on a airplane flying back to Minnesota with sitting next to a guy named Rob Lear. And he was kind of a famous guy in the area. He was a sportscaster. He did hockey. And I sat down and we were talking. I said, what about having a hockey puck, that would do this or that? Wow! He said, that would be great. That would show up on TV. So then he had connections with the North Stars, who were still there in Minnesota at that time. And so I made up some pucks then, that look kind of like this. They did. They looked just like I put reflective material. I adhered these materials onto a puck, and we did a demonstration out at they call it Met Stadium. They tore that down in Bloomington, Minnesota. And my son was there, and my son-in-law, and he wasn't married yet, but anyway, they went out and they did a demonstration. I've got a video of that too, that was done in about 1992. So that was shown then to Gary Bettman and the National Hockey League, and everybody got pretty excited about it. And so I had a meeting then. I went up to Quebec City and met with Glenn Adamo. He was the vice president of broadcasting for the National Hockey League, and we sat down and he signed an agreement with me, and that was to work with the International Hockey League and do games with them. So I worked with a fellow there, and we went and did 4 games around the country and used the fire puck. And it showed up pretty well, and it wasn't quite good enough. There are some reasons that it didn't succeed. Kind of hate to talk about those, but one of them was that when I made the pucks, I made, you can see they're a little different. I made grooves in the puck, grooves in there.
What's the metal made out of?
It looks like metal. This, you mean?
Yeah.
That is reflective material.
Oh, wow.
Diamond grade prismatic sheeting, actually. That's the brightest stuff. So I could put that there. But on this side, then I would use the
raise it up a little.
Retro reflective. Okay. So that's got little glass beads in it. But so I had to use color because when you if you use this is a same material, only it's not colored.
Come up a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can see a little, it's called enclosed lens sheeting. So this was put on the pucks. The problem is the players couldn't see the puck on the white ice,
Yeah.
So that's why I had to go with color, and that made it so it wasn't quite as bright as it should be. And then we had to use bright spotlights, which what I should do is demonstrate how this works.
Sure.
By a flashlight. I got a flashlight here.
Okay.
And turn it on.
Does the lighting matter from arena to arena? Because I know every arena has a little bit different lighting. Does that affect the pucks?
Not too much. No, that wasn't too big a factor. The lighting, some was the less bright would make it better. But now I'm going to try to show you here. I'm going to put these on the floor over here. So in my office, and then I'm going to shine a light. I think I can teach you how it works by, okay, here. I'll put these two, one colored and one not colored, side by side. Okay, and then I'm going to show the camera. Can you see them?
Yeah.
Okay, now when I have the light close to the camera, I can't see them here. Hold on.
Yeah, I think the one on the left looks a little brighter than the one on the right.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, so now when I move the flashlight away from, then it gets less bright because there's an angle there. So basically, maybe it doesn't show up too well, but the basic idea I'm trying to show here is that the light goes from a source and then it hits the reflective material and it goes back in the same direction. Okay, so what we do then is we put a light right on a TV camera right next to it. So that's one thing that we had to do with the puck.
I got to ask you this question because have you heard of the Fox track puck? That came out around 1995. Did they did they get an idea from you because they did that?
Yes, sir. They did. That's exactly what happened. I was ahead of them. You look it up, you can see it in Wikipedia. It's written up. But anyway, this guy by the name of Rick Cavallero, he called me. They actually, believe it or not, they offered me a job to go out to San Francisco and work with them to develop Fox Track. And it was, I know about it. I have one of those pucks around here somewhere.
Oh, you do? Yeah, there's a computer chip in it. But it was annoying on the screen because it shows like a blue dot going around. You know, the Fox Sports played that, or Fox TV had that puck in this 96, 97.
That came after my puck. I think mine was the leader, and they followed. But anyway, they had an agreement with me, and I had, I don't know if you want to include this part, but they didn't handle that properly. They used information from me, and then I got a lawyer, and we were going to... We threatened the National Hockey League and Fox News. And it wasn't Fox News; it was Fox Sports at the time. And so we settled with them, and we got a settlement, which was just covered my costs. It wasn't much. So, but I don't know if the National Hockey League would like to hear that. You know what I mean?
Well, it did happen, so.
I think they were embarrassed about it. And that's, okay, I've told you that I am trying to work with, I've been communicating with the National Hockey League recently with Gary Bettman again. I sent him some materials, and he doesn't want to work with me on this anymore. Might be because of that previous experience. But, so, I think I can explain, before, like I was saying, we had white ice.
Yes.
And colored puck, so that the people in the audience could see the puck, and so that the players could see the puck. You know what I mean? A colored puck, like they're used to a black puck on white. We see by contrast, you know. Okay, so then what they did in 2015, National Hockey League did an experiment with black ice or dark ice and a white puck. And it only did a couple games. It was it didn't go too well. But I didn't know about that at the time. But if they would have used one of my silver white pucks with a light on a camera like that, it would have really showed up well. And I'm trying to get them to do that again. And I have filed for a patent on that concept. So I can talk about that. There's not a problem.
Okay.
Because in the record.
Yeah, so. The only place I saw dark ice, like a dark blue, was a Long Beach arena when the Ice Dogs played East Coast League. They had the ice painted like a blue, and they used a black puck. But I guess there was no complaints. You know, they could still see the puck. Yeah.
So is that done I would like to go there and
that was that team is no longer in existence. But it was. We're talking early 2000s. Like 2002. So,
well, if you find any dark-colored rinks with auditoriums, I'd like to.
I can paint my rink black for you. Just have it and come and experiment in my hockey alleys. Fine. I want to ask you, what is the cost of one of these? Mind me ask to make one of these.
Well, it costs. The raw materials are not much. 50 cents maybe.
Oh, wow.
But putting it together and the time and everything, I charged $10 to $15 a puck when I made them. But yeah, so they're not too expensive. Now the way I make them, I don't make the grooves in them. So even less than $10.
Are they?
But I put my own time into it. I don't even know. I would have to set it up in a manufacturing setup. Have people click, click, click. That sort of. I've never done that. I just make them all by hand.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And does it slide very well compared to a real puck? Is there any differential in the slide on the ice?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yes, it does. The new ones I have now, I have put material on that surface so that they actually slide better than a regular black
Oh, really?
puck.
Wow.
But the old ones were about the same, okay? But there was a problem with the fact that they had the grooves in the puck, so that made the puck kind of flutter on the ice, okay? So the scores in the games are like, 10 to 15, real high scores.
Wow.
Yeah, and the goalies didn't like the pucks. They bang them out into the stands.
Yeah, that's my question. Were the goalies complaining that they couldn't see the edge of the puck and the spin? Was that a complaint?
What? No, I didn't hear that, but that might have been something. But I didn't hear that. But the problem, goalies, they had trouble because it was bouncing on the ice differently than a regular puck, and so they put their stick down, and somehow the puck would go over it, and it would bounce on the ice. That was a pretty, a good negative, a negative thing,
Yeah.
So that's why this new approach doesn't have the grooves, and it slides faster on the ice. I've taken, you throw them out on the ice, and the new one goes farther.
And even with snow, it didn't matter if it was snowy. Like if there was a lot of snow on the ice.
That is a good, yeah. Yeah, that slows it down and would make them more the same then,
as
because
regular.
of the interference of the snowy ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ice is just usually whipped up pretty fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a girl, a high school girl, that contacted us. The dad contacted us, and they wanted me to shoot a puck around 2001. She made a puck that had a light in it, and every time it made contact, it would spin. It had a plexiglass on the top, and on the bottom too. Bottom, I don't think did. Just the one. No, both sides it did. Anyways, when you hit it, it spins and it turns in a yellow color. It's very cool,
color.
and she wanted me to break it. And I'm like, I asked her like 3 times, are you sure you want me to break it? So I'd have to hit it off the post on a slap shot. So within 2 shots, I busted it, and I felt really bad. She's like, no, that's the part of the experiment. And the dad wanted to pay me like $200 for taking just 2 shots. And I said, no, I don't take money for doing that. I feel really bad. It took her, I think, like 4 months to put this together as a science project. I wish we didn't have like phone cameras to take a video of it back then, because that would have been cool to kind of, so.
Well, the light in the puck is a pretty good idea, but I mean, it's like she kind of had the problem there. I mean, how you got to get it so it's durable?
Yeah.
I think they've had trouble with, I don't know if you're aware, but I think they're working on similar things to the old Fox track. They're putting diodes, I believe they call them diodes, in the puck, and they're putting all kinds. Now, when you watch the National Hockey League, they have these with the players, I think, so you can see, after the shot was done, then you can see where the players went. They do a summary of that, and I think there's stuff that's in somewhere on the uniform of the hockey player.
Really?
So that, and then they're doing the same thing with the puck, but they have trouble with it. And these pucks cost them about $100 a piece, and they last a short time. I think they have batteries in them.
Oh, really?
So got some real objections, and that's why my puck is that's the way they ought to go.
The only sad part will be that fans can't catch souvenirs at the game to keep them because they'll be too expensive. So probably would be expecting netting all the way around the rink if that happens.
Yes,
that would be, people catch a puck at a game. It's a big memory for the rest of their life that they caught the puck. It's a storyteller, right? But Now, if you make your puck or any of those computerized in them chip, and they're expensive, they're not going to want to let the fans have them.
That's right. That'd be different.
Yeah. Are you?
The puck, I know that they want them. I know the player. There are some that are on eBay.
Uh-huh.
Other people have them that they are trying to sell to.
Wow.
So,
What do they
yeah.
sell for? I mean, I know what the Fox Track puck goes for.
Yeah. Well, how much is that? I don't know.
I've seen them go anywhere between $500 to about $1,000.
Okay.
Because
Well,
they just came out for a year or two. It has like 4 dots on each side in a square formation, like 4
Okay.
little dots. I mean, you have one right there, do you?
no. I don't know where it is. I can't find it.
Oh.
I had it in my drawer.
Yeah, that's a collectible. I would keep that. That's
Yeah. This is one I cut it up with a saw.
Oh.
So I wanted to see what was in it. But yeah, that was one they gave to me during this exchange that we were having, a sharing information deal. I was going to say, there is in the National Hockey League has a museum at Evelyn, Minnesota,
Uh-huh.
and my puck is in that. They've got a little
cool.
and I gave them a whole bunch of my pucks.
Oh, wow.
About 2 dozen.
Oh,
They kind
wow.
of cut me out. So then I come home and I don't have any left.
Oh, no.
But I do have another dozen. So
Wow.
those are the ones that are I'm trying to sell.
Yeah, so you have them.
I don't really need the money, but I don't know. My kids, they're going to inherit, and when I croak, then they'll get the.
It's there. I mean, there's something. It's like a one of a kind item. Some that you invented, and it's really cool. Like they come up with the idea to. Yeah. What kind of machine tools did you use to make the pucks?
Well, when I had this equipment, mechanical equipment like drills and stuff like that I could handle this. Oh, but then I would have my wife's uncle has a machine shop, so he did a lot of he made the pucks for me.
Wow.
And then I would just lay this stuff in, and then I would work with other companies that die cut. Well, this stuff comes out in sheet form, in big rolls, the reflective material. So I would take that, and they would just stamp them out. Then I would put them all together that way. So.
And have the pucks been tested through a lot where it's taken a lot of shots and held up?
Yes, they hold up very well. I'm very proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
They used materials that had some flexibility because when the puck hits the post, like you're just talking about, there's a lot of flexing that goes on, and but it has to. And they held up very well, and I don't think any of them we went through. We had 20 per game. We did these 4 games, and I don't think any of them that came back that were not functioning. They were all working just
still
fine.
holding up. Okay.
Yeah, I put a layer of real tough material. It's 3M material. It's polyurethane they call it. And they use it on the front of bumpers now. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They put it on a car. It's real tough material.
Yeah,
So
3M is a great company. They make good stuff. That's like
They
quality.
do.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I do all that stuff.
Yeah.
They let me do this when I was working at 3M as kind of a second project. They gave me a release, So that was friendly of them to do that.
Very nice. Are you working on any other sports besides hockey?
Well, I worked on lacrosse,
Lacrosse.
and,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I did the same thing. I went out to San Diego a few years ago. We did a game out there, and I've got some videos of that too. And they have changed their stadiums a little bit based on my recommendation. I worked with the guy by the name of Brian Lemon. He's a vice president of something in the National Lacrosse League, and they signed agreements with me, and we did some games. And I don't know, they just they weren't impressed with the brightness of it, So, and they don't see a problem. There's one thing that goes on in both the leagues, and that is that the players have a big influence on the decisions. Okay, so the players didn't seem to like the balls, and the same is true of the pucks. The players really. I'm used to a black puck. That's what I've always played. I don't want to play with. So then it's sort of like they're forgetting about the audience who's having the trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and people can't see it on their TV. Well, the players that are making the decisions, well, it's kind of like you've got to, change that a little bit, change that concept, and ask the customers. That's ask customers, what do you want? I want to be able to see the puck. We'll get in and change it. Well, then you tell the players, well, this you got to play it with this.
What
and lacrosse too.
Lacrosse is that the indoor lacrosse or the outdoor?
Only indoor.
Oh, indoor. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen that on TV. I haven't never seen a lacrosse game outside, so I don't know what they really do. So, but I'm kind of imagining.
It's outside they do them at night, too, but most of them are done during daytime. But I think both the leagues, the indoor lacrosse and outdoor, are about the same size, but they're much smaller than hockey, But the other point is that hockey viewership is much lower than like basketball or football. It's like, and they've had a bad year. Their viewership is suddenly going down.
Yes. My complaint is there's just too much advertising on the ice, like the boards. The ice has logos, and I think that just you can lose sight of the puck as a fan.
I agree. I don't like that. It's irritating.
But it's money driven, right? So those advertisement pays a fortune for everything. Yeah. So they have to have them. But the downfall is the fan cannot see the puck. So when the puck's going on the boards, if I'm watching on TV, it's just tougher to see. I mean, I can see it, but it's not as easy if you're just a fan that never watched hockey.
Right. If you watch hockey a lot, I think they get used to it. They kind of get a feel for where it's going. Yeah.
Don, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me on my channel. Have a great one.
Okay,
thank you so much. Take care.
Jack.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.